It was supposed to be just another night, another reckless comment, another viral moment that would disappear by morning. But this time, something snapped. What Boosie Badazz said wasn't just disrespectful. It was personal. It was targeted. And according to people close to the situation, it was the final straw that pushed T.I. into a level of rage nobody had ever seen before. We're talking pure fury. Insiders are claiming it nearly turned fatal. Yes, fatal. Just hours after Boosie publicly mocked T.I.'s son King Harris again, doubling down with humiliating, line-crossing comments, things didn't stay online. They spilled into the real world. Phone calls were made. Voices were raised. Threats were allegedly thrown. And then a location was set. A confrontation happened. Sources say it almost turned into a full-blown violent showdown. Fans are losing their minds. Celebrities are staying suspiciously quiet. And social media is exploding with leaked voice notes, wild theories, and one terrifying phrase everyone keeps whispering. He almost didn't make it out. So the real question is, did T.I. finally lose control? Did Boosie go too far this time? And what exactly happened that night that has the entire industry on edge? To understand how we got here, we have to go back. This wasn't some random Twitter clash for clout. This was a slow-burning, toxic feud that had been cooking for years, insult after insult, until it finally exploded. At the center, two of hip-hop's most outspoken personalities. T.I., the self-proclaimed king of the South, a veteran who built his name on respect, discipline, and authority, versus Boosie Badazz, raw, unpredictable, and completely unfiltered, a man who's never been afraid of backlash or consequences. And then there's the third piece that made everything personal, King Harris. For years, T.I. and Boosie actually moved in similar circles. They shared stages, showed mutual respect, and both built careers by speaking their minds. But that same unfiltered energy eventually turned toxic. As T.I. tried to evolve, moving into business, activism, and a more polished image, Boosie stayed exactly the same, loud, reckless, and unapologetic. The tension started when Boosie began openly disagreeing with T.I. on podcasts, interviews, and Instagram lives. At first, it looked like healthy debate between two alphas. Then the tone shifted. Boosie stopped attacking opinions and started attacking T.I.'s family, specifically his son, King Harris. King had been in the spotlight, vocal, rebellious, and sometimes clashing with his father's image. Boosie jumped on that. What started as light jabs quickly turned into sharp, disrespectful shots that went viral again and again. According to people close to T.I., that's when it stopped being entertainment and became dangerous. Because for T.I., this wasn't about rap anymore. This was about his son being publicly humiliated by someone who knew exactly how much damage those words could do. T.I. tried to stay silent at first. He allegedly reached out privately, trying to shut it down behind the scenes. But Boosie didn't stop. He got louder. One insider claims during a private warning, someone told Boosie, "You're playing with something serious now." Boosie allegedly just laughed it off. And then he went on another rant. This time he didn't just mention King, he mocked him directly, with zero filter. The internet ate it up, clips spread like wildfire. Fans started tagging T.I. nonstop, flooding his comments with the videos, basically pushing him into a corner. And if there's one thing everyone knows about T.I., it's that he doesn't play when it comes to his family. That's when things moved from public shade to private chaos. Heated phone calls. Mutual friends trying and failing to mediate. Whispers that this was no longer just rap beef, it was getting dark. Then Boosie doubled down again, harder, meaner, more provocative than ever. And according to multiple sources, That was the moment everything changed. What happened next wasn't planned. It wasn't for the cameras. It wasn't supposed to go that far. But once emotions took over, there was no turning back. The confrontation that followed wasn't just shocking. It was terrifying. Because this time, words weren't enough. And Boosie may have finally pushed T.I. past the point of no return. It all hit a boiling point on a night that started off looking completely ordinary. No dramatic warnings. No public posts hyping it up. No red flags waving in the air. Just another regular evening, until it was. Behind the scenes, the tension had been simmering for hours. According to multiple insider reports, Boosie Badazz had jumped on a live stream again. What began as his usual loud, no-filter rant quickly turned ice cold and calculated. This time, he wasn't just venting, he was aiming straight for the jugular. Clips from that live started flying across the internet within minutes. At first, fans thought it was classic Boosie. Animated wild, saying whatever popped into his head. But then the energy shifted. He brought up King Harris again, not in passing, not subtly. He mocked him directly with that signature laugh, repeating phrases, dragging it out like he wanted the moment to sting. And then he dropped the line that made everyone freeze. Fans instantly recognized it as crossing every single boundary. The comment section exploded. Notifications lit up like fireworks. People started tagging T.I. nonstop. Yo, you seeing this? He wildin' now. This ain't funny anymore, bro. That's when everything changed. Unlike previous times, T.I. didn't stay silent. Sources close to the situation claim that within minutes of those clips going viral, urgent phone calls started flying. These weren't casual check-ins or friendly warnings. These were aggressive, tense, and filled with raw emotion. One insider described the moment vividly. You could hear it in his voice, he wasn't playing no more. This wasn't about the internet beef. He wanted to handle it face to face. Face to face. Just those 3 words sent chills through everyone who understood how serious things had become. Because once rap drama leaves the apps and moves into the real world, it becomes unpredictable, volatile, and sometimes uncontrollable. Then came the move nobody saw coming. A location was quietly shared through private channels. No social media flex, no cameras rolling, just a message passed between the right people. And according to circulating reports, Boosie didn't dodge it. He didn't ignore the invitation. He showed up. What happened next? The details are messy, conflicting, and in some versions, downright terrifying. Some sources say it was meant to be a conversation, a chance to clear the air, set hard boundaries, and finally stop the madness before it spiraled further. Others paint a much darker picture. From the second both sides arrived, the air was thick with hostility. You could feel the tension before anyone even opened their mouth. Raised voices, aggressive body language, people stepping in between them, desperately trying to keep things from exploding. But when emotions run this hot, logic vanishes. According to one alleged witness on the scene, they wasn't talking. They was arguing loud, angry, heated. It didn't feel like a conversation anymore. It felt like something was about to go horribly wrong. And then it did. As the argument intensified, one comment cut through the noise. We still don't know the exact words, but every single source agrees on this. It dragged King Harris back into it. And in that split second, something inside T.I. snapped. Reports claim he lunged forward with zero hesitation, pure rage fueling every move. Chaos erupted instantly. People rushed in, shouting, pulling bodies apart. Voices boomed. The room turned into pure pandemonium. For a terrifying few seconds, it looked like the situation was about to spiral into something far darker than a simple fight. One insider later described it in words that still have fans shaken. It wasn't just a fight. It felt like he lost control completely, like he wasn't thinking anymore. Now here, Where the story takes its darkest turn yet. According to certain circulating claims, someone in the room shouted a warning that instantly froze everyone in place. Chill, this ain't going there. But what exactly did there mean? That's where things get deeply disturbing. Some reports, still unconfirmed but spreading like wildfire, suggest the confrontation was dangerously close to turning life-threatening. No weapons have been officially confirmed. No police reports have surfaced. But the energy in the room, according to multiple witnesses, was heading in a direction that scared every single person present. Suddenly, the entire atmosphere shifted. People physically pulled T.I. back. Others stepped firmly between him and Boosie. The shouting dropped into tense, controlled warnings. Everyone realized in that moment this wasn't rap beef anymore. This was real life, and it had nearly gone too far. Just as quickly as it exploded, it ended. Boosie was escorted out. T.I. was held back. Both sides left the scene, but not before exchanging one final, loaded look. A witness described it as a look that said everything words couldn't. You'd think that would be the end of it, that cooler heads would prevail and things would finally calm down. You'd be wrong. Within hours, the first twist hit hard. Something leaked, not video footage, not raw audio, but alleged private messages that started circulating online. And if those messages are authentic, what happened that night was only the beginning. One line in particular stopped scrolls dead in their tracks. Next time, it won't stop. No confirmation, no denial, just that single chilling sentence spreading like wildfire across social media. And suddenly, the stakes skyrocketed. Now the conversation wasn't just what happened that night. It became WH. It happens next. If those words meant what people feared they meant, then this situation was far from over. If you thought the drama would fade after that explosive night, you couldn't have been more wrong. Instead of dying down, it detonated in public. Within hours of those alleged messages leaking, social media turned into an all-out battlefield. Clips, screenshots, rumored voice notes, everything dropped at once. What had been whispered insider talk exploded into a full-blown viral war. T.I. started trending. Boosie Badazz started trending. And shockingly, so did King Harris. But this time it wasn't light jokes or casual debates. It was pure chaos. Fake leaked DMs flooded timelines. Some claimed to show T.I. issuing stern warnings to Boosie to stay away from his family. Others allegedly captured Boosie laughing the whole thing off, treating it like just another viral moment for clout. One post that got shared thousands of times in minutes read, "He really thought it was sweet until it was." The narrative flipped overnight. People weren't just asking questions anymore, they were picking sides. Team T.I. versus Team Boosie. No middle ground, no neutrality, just raw, passionate division. Then came the voice note rumors, unverified, unconfirmed, yet everywhere. Clips supposedly containing aggressive tones and veiled threats started circulating. Some listeners swore they heard real danger. Others called them edited, fake, or completely manipulated. But here's the reality of the internet. It doesn't wait for proof. It reacts instantly, and the reactions were intense. Some fans defended T.I. fiercely. He warned him multiple times. You can't keep disrespecting a man's child like that in public. What did he expect? Others pushed back just as hard. Boosie is just speaking his mind. You can't police free speech or try to control what people say online. And then there were the ones caught in the middle, the voices that weren't laughing anymore. Because suddenly, this stopped feeling like entertainment. It started feeling genuinely dangerous. But just when the situation couldn't get any more heated, a new bombshell dropped. According to a so-called industry insider with close ties, that explosive confrontation wasn't the first one. Let that sink in. It wasn't the first. The claim suggests there had been multiple previous attempts to handle this privately, quiet conversations, serious warnings, and tense sit-downs that never leaked to the public. Each time, things were supposedly de-escalated, until they were. This revelation changed the entire timeline. It painted a picture of a slow-building storm that had been brewing far longer than most fans realized. Layer after layer of disrespect, ignored warnings, and mounting frustration had finally reached its absolute breaking point. So now the hip-hop world waits. Will this fizzle out with private apologies and moved on energy? Or has the damage been done so deeply that the next chapter could be even more unpredictable? One thing is certain: when family gets dragged into the spotlight and lines get crossed this personally, the fallout rarely stays clean. The streets are watching. Social media is still on fire. And everyone, fans, insiders, and even some celebrities staying silent, is wondering the same thing. How much further will this go before someone finally steps in and stops it for good? Because after that night, the phrase echoing in every group chat is louder than ever. Next time it won't stop. And nobody wants to find out what that really means. And if those claims are true, then this wasn't some sudden explosion out of nowhere. This was a storm that had been quietly building behind the scenes for a long time. But here's where it gets even more shocking. Another alleged leak started circulating online, and this one had people genuinely worried. It claimed that after the heated confrontation, there were serious discussions about handling things differently next time. Suddenly, that one chilling line, "Next time it won't stop," started hitting different. It no longer felt like empty words. It felt like a warning. It felt like a threat. People began asking the questions nobody wanted to ask out loud. Was this feud about to escalate even further? Would there be another confrontation? And if there was, would it end the same way or much worse? Even celebrities started weighing in subtly, of course. No names dropped, but everyone knew exactly who they were talking about. One major artist tweeted, "Some lines you just don't cross, especially when it involves family." Another fired back, "Y'all are too emotional, it's just words, not war." And just like that, the divide grew even deeper. But then came the moment that truly shook the entire timeline. While the internet was still arguing non-stop, a brand new clip surfaced. It wasn't from the confrontation that night. It was from earlier the same day. In the video, Boosie Badazz looked completely relaxed, laughing, unbothered, cracking jokes about the situation like it was just another Tuesday. He treated the whole thing like light entertainment, as if he had no idea how dangerously close things had gotten. That clip changed everything. Now the narrative split wide open. Was Boosie genuinely unaware of how serious the tension had become? Or did he know exactly what he was doing, intentionally provoking? More importantly, did he seriously underestimate how far T.I. was willing to go to protect his family? According to several insiders, that's exactly what happened. He thought it was all internet talk, one source claimed. He didn't believe it would ever turn real, but it did. And now the consequences are unfolding in real time. Security around both sides reportedly tightened immediately. Public appearances got limited. Movements became more private and cautious. Behind the scenes, the tension remained raw, unresolved, and unfinished, because no apology had been issued, no statements had cleared the air, and nobody had officially backed down. When situations like this stay open and unresolved, they don't just disappear. They grow. And that's exactly what started happening. Just when people hoped things might finally cool off, a new question began spreading like wildfire across social media. What if that night wasn't even the worst part? That single question is what's keeping everyone glued to their feeds, refreshing, speculating, waiting. Because if everything we've seen so far was just the build-up, then what's coming next might be something nobody, is truly ready for. By the time the dust should have settled, it didn't. It got way louder. This was no longer a private feud that accidentally leaked. It had exploded into a full-scale cultural moment, the kind that drags in fans, critics, celebrities, bloggers, and casual observers alike. Once that happens, there's no controlling the narrative anymore. Hashtags for T.I. and Boosie Badazz dominated timelines for days. Clips were reposted faster than anyone could keep up. Old interviews resurfaced. Past comments were dissected like forensic evidence in a mystery. Suddenly, people weren't just reacting to the fight. They were rewriting the entire history of their relationship. Some fans dug up older clips where Boosie had joked about other artists' families. Others pulled classic T.I. moments where he preached about respect, discipline, and knowing when things have gone too far. The debate turned nuclear. On one side, passionate defenders of T.I. declared, "You don't play with a man's child, period. He gave multiple warnings. He tried to keep it private. Boosie kept pushing anyway. At some point, words stopped being jokes." On the other side, just as loud and aggressive, "This is hip-hop. People talk trash. If you can't handle it, stay off the internet. Boosie has always been the same unfiltered person. Why act surprised now? You can't threaten someone over mere words." Caught right in the middle of the storm was King Harris. He wasn't just part of the story anymore. He had become the story. Fans started analyzing his every past video, statement, and attitude, turning him into a symbol for everything this drama represented. That's when the conversation shifted from rap beef into something much more uncomfortable and personal. People began asking, is this really about parenting, respect, or is it all just bruised egos? The internet fractured into even more factions. Meanwhile, inside the industry, there was mostly silence at first. Many artists stayed quiet, watching from a safe distance. Nobody wanted to get pulled into something this unpredictable. Choosing the wrong side could burn bridges for years. But silence never lasts long in moments like these. Eventually, subtle reactions started slipping through the cracks. Cryptic tweets, vague Instagram captions, and stories that vanished after a few hours, but not before screenshots captured them forever. One artist posted, "This ain't entertainment no more. This is real life." Another wrote, "Some people don't know when to stop until it's too late." The tone shifted again. Now it wasn't just fans arguing in comment sections. Industry voices were quietly acknowledging that things had gone too far. Still, not everyone agreed. Some defended Boosie's right to speak freely, warning that social pressure and cancel culture were dangerous slopes. Others fired back that freedom of speech doesn't mean freedom from consequences. The debate got intensely heated. Podcasts dedicated full episodes to breaking it down. YouTube channels dissected every clip frame by frame. TikTok creators turned the drama into multi-part theory series, timelines, and hidden truth breakdowns. Everyone had an opinion. Everyone had a take. Everyone claimed to know what really happened. But the actual truth became harder and harder to pin down. For every leak, there was a counterleak. For every claim, there was a denial. And in the middle, of all that noise, the two men at the center of it all stayed mostly silent. No official statements. No clear explanations. No public confirmations or apologies. Just pure, unresolved tension. And that silence, it only made everything worse. When there's no clarity, people fill in the blanks themselves. Rumors hardened into facts. Speculation morphed into evidence. The story took on a life of its own. Some even started suggesting something much bigger was at play, that this wasn't just about one comment, one confrontation, or even one wild night. This felt like the breaking point of something much deeper. And if those whispers are true, then this wasn't just two egos clashing in one wild night. This was years of built-up tension, unspoken resentment, and colliding egos that were always headed for a breaking point. And if that's the case, what we've seen so far might only be the surface. One quiet post started circulating and instantly stuck with everyone who read it. "Y'all think it's over. This ain't even the worst part." That single line spread like wildfire. Because if that night wasn't the worst part, then what is? What could possibly be coming next that's even darker? That question is exactly what has everyone locked in, refreshing feeds, refreshing comments, waiting for the next update. Deep down, we all feel it. This is nowhere near finished. Whatever comes next could completely rewrite everything we thought we knew about this situation. And just when people thought they had the full story figured out, a brand new twist dropped that flips the entire narrative upside down. According to a well-connected insider claiming to be close to both sides, what happened that night was never supposed to go down the way it did. Not that intense, not that dangerous. The meeting between T.I. and Boosie Badazz was allegedly never meant to be a confrontation at all. It was supposed to be a controlled intervention. Mutual friends, people who genuinely respected both men, had been working quietly behind the scenes to bring them together. The goal: clear the air, set boundaries, and shut this toxic feud down before it destroyed everything. Both sides had reluctantly agreed. So what went wrong? Here's where it gets chilling. The same source claims something happened just minutes before they came face to face. A private message was shown, not the "next time it won't stop" line that leaked later, but a different one. A message so explosive that the moment it was read, the entire energy in the room shifted. What was supposed to be a calm conversation instantly turned into chaos. What was meant to be controlled exploded. And now people are asking the question nobody expected. What if someone wanted it to go exactly like that? What if this wasn't just two men losing their cool, but something that was quietly pushed in that direction? Before you call it a conspiracy, there's still no hard proof, only whispers. But those whispers are getting louder by the hour. Another detail soon started circulating: a name. Someone allegedly in the room that night who hasn't been mentioned publicly yet. A person who may have dropped the exact words that turned a tense sit-down into a near disaster. Suddenly, this story isn't just about T.I. versus Boosie anymore. It's about who else was really involved, and who might have been fanning the flames. According to that insider, after the chaos finally calmed and both sides left, there was one last quiet conversation. In that moment, someone allegedly said a line that's been echoing ever since. This wasn't supposed to happen like this, but now it's too late. Too late for what? That's the question keeping everyone up at night. Because if this meeting was truly meant to end the beef peacefully, then something or someone turned it into something much darker. And if that's true, then what we witnessed wasn't just a moment of anger. It was the spark that started something much bigger. Right now, both sides have gone completely silent, more silent than ever before. No posts, no reactions, no explanations. That kind of silence doesn't mean peace. It means things are still moving, just not in public. And the scariest part, people close to the situation are now saying the same four words. This isn't over, not even close. If there really are hidden players, unanswered questions, and unresolved tension, then the next chapter might not stay contained. It might not stay controlled, and it definitely might not end the same way it did last time. Because this stopped being about disrespect, ego, or viral clips a long time ago. It's about something deeper, something still building, something waiting for the right moment to explode again. And when it does, it might not stop this time. Because whatever happened that night didn't close the chapter. It opened a brand new one. So the real question hanging over everyone right now is, are we about to watch this situation explode again? Or has something already been quietly set in motion? If the rumors are true, the most shocking part of this story hasn't even dropped yet. Now I want to hear from you. After everything we just broke down, the alleged confrontation, the leaked messages, the insider claims, the heavy silence, one question still remains. What do you actually believe happened that night? Do you think T.I. was pushed too far? Or did Boosie Badazz knowingly cross a line that should have never been touched? And more importantly, was this really just a heated moment that spiraled out of control? Or is there something much bigger playing out behind the scenes that we still don't fully understand? Let's be real for a second. Nothing about this situation feels normal anymore. Not the timing, not the silence, not how fast it escalated. What about King Harris? Do you think he should have ever been dragged into this public mess? Or is this just the price of growing up in the spotlight? Drop your take in the comments right now. Team T.I. or Team Boosie, who was really wrong? And do you think this is truly over? Or is something even bigger coming next? Don't hold back. Say exactly what you think. Because this story is still unfolding in real time, and your voice might help shape how the next chapter gets told. If you made it this far, you already know this isn't just another celebrity beef. This feels like something that's still developing right in front of us. So make sure you like this video, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. The second any new footage, confirmation, or wild twist drops, we're breaking it down immediately. Trust me, based on everything we've seen so far, this story is only just getting started.